Welcome to Flash CS5 tutorial. Make a comic book part 7. It's a follow-up to part 6 naturally, and I have that FLA on my monitor now. Just want to finish off the movie clip for the block 3 with you, and then we'll quickly go through the last 3 blocks. So I'm opening that movie clip PG1 SQ3MC. The first thing I want to do is bring the narration layers, these 2 narration layers here, select these 2 frames and drag them up to frame 2. Select these 2 frames after it, right click, insert blank keyframes, and come up here, select these 2 all the way to the end, right click and remove frames so there's no frames. Select these 2 voice layers here, 1, 2, these 2, and bring them up to where Dr. Munn is in the room. You got to see this. So I'm not going to go through the animations with you. What we need to make sure is on here we have a stop. Go back to movie clip number 2, PG1 SQ2 movie clip. Select this second actions layer, open it up, copy all this. This is the format you're going to be using all the way through this now. Into number 3, back to 3. There's a blank keyframe here if you didn't put it in. And select that blank keyframe, paste in this action script we just copied, and change the 2's to a 3 here, here, and here. Make sure that while you're on this movie clip, select the narration box right here and make sure it has an instance name up here. If it hasn't, give it the instance name PG1SQ3NAR_BTN. It's a button. Make sure you make it a button. And the last bit of action script that we need to be concerned with is this one here. So if I go back to that movie clip 2 again, select that last frame and copy all this. Go back to this new number 3 again, select that last frame. If it isn't a keyframe, make it 1, and paste in this. Only need 1 stop here. Paste in this and change this to a 4. So while we're here, let's copy that frame number or that frame name, copy it, go back to scene 1, and that would be this. If I look here on my frame 62, if I open it up, that's my frame 3. So right here, insert a blank keyframe, and in this frame label, paste in that place where we're going. As soon as you hit the enter sign, the little flag will come in here. While we're here on this scene 1, select this frame here. It's my frame 62, and if you look down here, that 62 is here. Unlock your layers. It's just the frame number layer we need to unlock, and you can delete that. We don't need that anymore. We know that's working. Select this actions code layer right here. It's my frame 62. Open it, copy this, copy it, paste and insert a blank keyframe here, open it, paste it, and make this a 4. Insert another blank keyframe, open it, paste this, make it a 5, I don't know that we need a 6, but let's do it just in case. Insert a blank keyframe, because we can always come back and take it out, paste it, and make this a 6, but I don't think we need this. Okay, well, I got to finish up on that number 3, so open it again. That movie clip 3. I'm missing one thing for my story. And right above this, where the doctor is talking, I'm going to insert 2 frames, or 2 layers rather. And up here somewhere, just after he speaks, he's speaking here. So in around here, insert 2 blank keyframes, and I'm going to put some narration in here, or some a voice box, and it's just the assistant talking back to him. If you have this situation, click on these 2 lines, bring them up here, click on these 2 lines and bring them up here. Back to the main timeline, and right now we're here on this frame, my frame 63, which is that frame FRMPG 1SQ4, and I want to go down this like this and insert keyframes. So hopefully that copies that information and brings it up there. The next thing we want to do is the movie clip 4. So open your library panel, open the movie clip 4, and to save time, you can be putting whatever animation you want in these frames. What I'm pointing out to you is that the first action layer should be a stop. The next action layer should be a stop with a button to navigate to get you to the next frame. Your next frame is where your animations could start. And the only other thing you need to have for sure is make sure that all these pictures come up to here, to the end of it, and that your last frame here has some means of getting you back to the main timeline. If you have this extra stop and brackets, this extra line, just delete that as long as you keep this semicolon at the end. And it's going to be the next square. So I'm going to copy that, the next frame, copy that. Going back to the main timeline. And that would be this one right here. So I'm going to select the one that I know is already there. And that's 4. Here I'm going to insert a blank keyframe and paste in that frame number. And when I hit enter, a little flag comes in here, and select these, draw it down, and make them keyframes. While we're on this frame 1, go back to this frame here, which is my frame 63, and you can unlock all the layers right now for a minute. Let's close the properties panel, and we're talking with this movie clip number 4 right here. If I click number 3 and look up here, it has an instance name. Number 4 doesn't. So let's give it an instance name. It's PG1SQ4_MC. Okay, let's open our movie clip number 5, PG1SQ5. And again, this is what I have. It's going to rest on the narration box, and then it's going to have some lightning, then an explosion. That's going to be it. So whatever you have is your concerns. Again, this has to be a stop. This one here has to have the narration button with a stop. And the last one got to direct you to the next frame. So let's copy that frame number. Again, make sure that anywhere there's a picture that it comes up here. well, in this case, in my case, I don't need it because this is so big that this is hiding all my picture. Back to scene 1. Just putting that there. If I select that, that's my frame 5. Insert a blank keyframe and paste in, and that becomes square 6. Click here, drag down, insert keyframes, and if we check this number 5, it has no instance name, so PG1SQ5_MC. We're back on the main timeline, and I want to come down here. In my case, this is my 1, my 2, my 3, and this is my number 4. And if I look at these frames, I want to put that way over there for a minute. And if I select number 4 movie clip, I can see there's no instance name. Well, it doesn't need it there. It doesn't need one here. It needs one here. So there's frame 4. And let's copy that. Copy it. And on this frame, select it, paste it in here. Because the problem is we made these keyframes when there was no instance names. Select this one and paste it in here. And let's go up here. I don't need number 5. Select number 5. I don't need it here. I don't think I need it here, but I know I need it here. So let's put an instance name for page 5 here. PG1SQ5_MC. Copy it and paste it here. Select it again, number 5. There it is there. I selected it there, number 5. So when you test your movie, if you get any errors where it says a null, property not found, or whatever that is, check these keyframes out and make sure they have an instance name in each of them, because that could be where your problem would be. And while we're here, let's check this one here. Click this one. This is my 6th layer. I don't think I need 6 here, but I'm going to put it here. PG1SQ6_MC. There's never any problem with giving an instance name to a movie clip, but there's a problem if you have a code for it and it doesn't exist. So copy that, and let's put it on this frame too. Select that number 6, just in case. Paste. So now they all have. Okay, we have one more movie clip to go through real quickly, and that is my PG1SQ6. There's mine. Again, there's got to be a stop in here. There's my stop. This has to be the narration button number 6 of some sort, sending you to number 3. And this got to send you back to the main timeline. You could keep the narration box if you want, but it's going to get awful cluttered. And make sure any pictures you have come up to the end. And all I have is a pile of garbage. It says 20 years later, in an isolated, forgotten landfill, 3 strange, what looks like plants begin to grow, and then they grow, wiggle, and grow. And this last frame here sends me back to the main timeline. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to copy this. I'm calling it the frame 2. Let's call this one FRMPG2. So go back to the main scene, main timeline, and it would be the next frame. This was that for number 6. I want to insert here a blank keyframe and give it that new frame name. Paste it there. There it is. And this is what's sending me to the final page of the page. And let's go down here, insert keyframes. See, before we inserted keyframes, some of these didn't have instance names, but now I'm sure they do. If I just check this one for example and check this block number, see it has an instance name. I'm just going to put a stop in this action code here, insert a blank keyframe. I'm going to put a stop in here. STOP, open close semicolon. And the last thing I want to do is on this frame, make sure all my layers are locked. Unlocking this one that has my frame names. That's where I always put my stuff. Right here, I'm just going to the text box and put here PAGE page 2. Page 2. Okay, let's give it one last try, and I'll try to step you through what I did. Okay, we click it. Dr. Munn is working late again. He is expecting a call from his assistant. Ring, ring. You gotta see this. I'll be there shortly. John arrives at the door of Dr. Munn's lab. Are you here, Doctor? The heat in Dr. Munn's lab is unbearable. Test results look good so far. What's with this heat? Great. The heat should disappear. It's starting to rain. The sweat is dripping down Dr. Munn's cheeks as a crack of lightning filled the sky. There's a sweat. Whoosh, there's lightning. No one knows exactly what happened next, but boom. Crash. 20 years later, in an isolated, forgotten landfill, 3 strange, what looks like plants begin to grow. And it takes it to page 3. So, that's enough for now. I'll do one more just to allow us to turn to the next page. Once you can do that, then you just keep following the format. Hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.